Welcome to Apex Philosophy, the perfect place to find motivation. Be sure to subscribe and listen every day so you can become your best self. Please like and share the video to help inspire others. Self-discipline, according to Marcus Aurelius. Who is Marcus Aurelius? Marcus was known as the last good emperor. Before his death, he had an autobiography written which was entitled Meditations. Meditations is a beautiful work, comprised of key knowledge on building self-discipline from the lens of a growing emperor. Marcus Aurelius started from the bottom as warrior and soldier before becoming an emperor, so you're sure that he is a credible source for knowing the ways of self-discipline. 1. Self-discipline starts with finding your purpose. What is your purpose in life? How can you achieve it? These are the important questions in attaining self-discipline. This is because you need a purpose to create a direction. For example, if you want to lose weight as part of your purpose, then you'll need to exercise. Another example could be wanting to save money by the end of the year. The action could be building discipline in saving money and spending it wisely. Some people only stop at finding their purpose. Then they will ask themselves, why isn't this working? Without actually knowing where they went wrong. A goal without actions is as good as nothing. It's a distant dream, an aspiration that could never be because you are not making an effort toward it. For Marcus Aurelius, it's as simple as asking, do you want it or not? If you really wanted it, then make some way to get it. If you didn't achieve it, then you didn't really want it in the first place. Like they always say, if there's a will, there's a way. 2. Count on yourself. Don't count on others. Count on yourself. As harsh as it may sound, other people will always prioritize themselves over you. You must not let this make you sad, frustrated, or angry. It is simply the truth. You cannot rely on your gym buddies to motivate you to work out. You, yourself, must have this goal and vision of your ideal body. And at the end of the day, you are the one making an effort towards this, and not them. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, turn your desire to stone. This means you should promise things to yourself, and only to yourself. You see, sometimes we get disappointed and point the blame at others. For example, when the workout routine of some people doesn't work, they would often blame the coach or instructor. They do not look upon themselves and think of where they went wrong. Keep your mind centered on itself. Instead of looking for others to blame, look into yourself and realize your mistakes. From there, you will learn how to be great. You are fixing your mistakes and you are making progress. This is what matters. That is how you keep your promises to yourself. 3. Show up every day. You must build up your life, action by action, and be content if one achieves its goal as far as possible. And no one can keep you from this. Showing up every day is part of being courageous. Sometimes life gets too heavy to handle. And just because someone can handle it well, doesn't mean they are not suffering. Look at parents, for example. You would see most couples with newborns giving you a smile while carrying their golden baby. But nobody talks about the sleepless nights. Nobody talks about the thousands of diaper changes. Still, they show up every day and continue on with life. This also reminds me of my niece during the course of the pandemic. At some point, she didn't want to attend school anymore. But she doesn't really have a choice, since school is online and brought to her home. What she did to get over that slump was to go to just one class per day. Afterward, she increased it to 2 and more. From then on, she started participating in class and her grades excelled. This is what showing up can lead to. Sometimes you miss the great things when you don't try and give up before the fun part comes in. Begin. To begin is half the work. Let half still remain. Again, begin this, and thou wilt has finished. 4. Practice voluntary hardship. There is a benefit to facing hardship. Hardship changes your mindset. It prepares you for the hard times to come. If the hard phase has already passed, then what is left? If you choose to do hard things, you will grow stronger. And things that used to be hard will become easier. We all have an innate fear of doing new things, or a desire to be lazy. But if we intentionally do hard things, we can build a habit of it. This will make it easier to go to the gym, easier to make that sales call, easier to say no. Every challenge in life becomes easier if we build the habit of doing hard things. We should discipline ourselves in small things, and from there, progress to things of greater value. Remember that the hardest part is getting over the mental hurdle and starting. Learn to ignore that voice in your head and just start. The rest will follow. The same goes for building habits. Did you know that, on average, it takes 21 repetitions to create a habit? You need to be consistent in order to make the change that you want. You can't just wish for something and wait until it appears. You have to create it. You need to seek out hardship, to rewire your brain to desire it. 5. Practice dichotomy of control. From the words of Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. There are 3 main things you need to know about control. First, there are things we can control. For example, you can control what you want to eat for breakfast. However, there are also things we can't control. Like, there are no eggs in the fridge. You can't magically make eggs just appear because you want to. Then again, the last form of control is that there are things you can influence. Since there are no more eggs in the fridge, could you maybe buy some from the nearest store and cook them for breakfast? Or maybe you could just grab a takeaway breakfast on your way to work. Again, you must remember these forms of control and save yourself from lots of unnecessary stress and frustration. 6. Never play the victim. Being the victim indicates that you are on the losing side. It's either you lost to an opponent or you lost the opportunity to be a better you. Here's an example. When playing the victim, we always find someone or something to blame. For example, you blame your parents for your childhood traumas. In that case, you are treating them as your opponent or as the other that hurt you. And yet, you do nothing, despite knowing the fact that there is something wrong with you. And so, you also lose the opportunity for change and a better future. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do your job without whining." Sometimes we get lost in whining so much about our situation that we forget to form solutions for our problems. We stay stuck, wondering why we are stuck. Instead of being the victim, be the main character of your life. Take responsibility for everything. It may not be your fault that you have childhood trauma, but it is your responsibility to heal from it. Take control and responsibility of everything you can, and you will find yourself empowered and able to improve your life. 7. Practice delayed gratification. In this world of technology and everything delivered at the swipe of a finger, many of us are being programmed to think that we can have anything we want immediately. However, that isn't the case. All relationships take time to be built. Trust is not easily given. All the good things require a lot of patience and determination. By delaying gratification, we gain the willpower to do what needs to be done. It also builds the strength to resist temptations of the flesh, such as greed, lust, and gluttony. Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants and spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being. 8. Ignore naysayers. It's a lot easier to ignore haters than ignore the hurtful things you tell yourself. For example, when someone calls you fat, you could let it go and think that they're just projecting their own insecurities towards you. However, if you are not diligent, these hurtful words could become your own. Slowly, you start believing them, and you start saying them to yourself. This internal dialogue can ruin your motivation. You may start to think that it is pointless to even try. You didn't ignore the naysayers well enough, and now you've lost your way. You must guard your mind and your thoughts. Protect yourself from their negativity. But imagine if you actually ignored them. Imagine if you ignored what everyone thought and just be your genuine self. How far could you go? 9. Find wise people to emulate. Emulating someone means to follow in their footsteps. Who is your idol? Who do you look up to? Are they someone of value? What are the good qualities that you could incorporate into your life? According to Marcus Aurelius, it will even do to socialize with men of good character in order to model your life on theirs. Whether you choose someone living or someone from the past, you need to find someone you aspire to be like, or someone you want to surpass, either in person or virtually. From there, you will find your direction in life. You may want to surpass Einstein, or maybe you want to surpass Hayao Miyazaki, the director of Studio Ghibli. Whoever it is, choose someone and learn about their journey. Figure out how they found their success. The sooner you find someone you can emulate, the sooner you can create a plan for achieving your goals. Of course, these goals need to be realistic. Just because Einstein quit school doesn't mean you should. Just because your K-pop idol tells you to buy something doesn't mean you should go to Korea and buy it. There are things we should follow and we shouldn't follow. Again, look for the good. It is smart to learn about multiple great people so you can look for the common threads. Number 10. Honestly review your day. On your journey, it is essential to look back and look at where you came from. Looking back does not equate to going back in the direction. It just means that you are there to review what happened and see how much you have grown. These are the characteristics of the rational soul: self-awareness, self-examination, and self-determination. It reaps its own harvest. It succeeds in its own purpose. And while you're in the process of reviewing the past, don't forget to take some time to be grateful. You can thank the people that have been patient with you. You can thank the universe for another day. Have you ever been thankful that an asteroid hasn't hit Earth yet and caused our extinction? Probably not. This is because we are too busy with our daily lives. Most of us fail to transcend this. But by reviewing our day, we can learn from it and make changes for tomorrow. Enjoy the journey and give time to praise yourself for all the hard work you've done. Everyone deserves recognition, but it doesn't have to come from anyone else. You deserve to give yourself recognition because only you know how much effort you put in. According to Marcus Aurelius, self-discipline means finding your purpose, becoming self-reliant, showing up consistently, seeking out hard things, practicing the dichotomy of control, taking ownership, practicing delayed gratification, ignoring the naysayers, emulating the successful, and learning from your mistakes. Always be mindful of these tips and you will change your life. Thank you for listening. Comment below, what is your favourite tip? Would you add anything to the list? Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.